Gentleman from Charlottesville, Mr. Toscano.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen in the House, because it's Friday, we'll leave part of my argument behind. I listened very carefully yesterday to the gentleman from Henrico, who I guess is not here today, and my friend, the gentleman from Augusta, to their speeches on the floor. And because it is Friday, we're going to leave the Medicaid is broken argument for later. But I'd be remiss if I didn't at least address some of the statements made by the gentleman from Henrico about our economy. I was listening to the gentleman, and if you were listening too, you might think that the Virginia economy is in serious trouble and that the Democratic administration is the source of the problem. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, that's just false. And Virginians know it's false. A recent survey of the Virginia Chamber of Commerce showed that 53% of our citizens believe that the economy is moving in the right direction in Virginia. That's over 10 points higher than what they think about the national economy. Clearly, something is going well. Now, when this governor took office, Virginia unemployment was 5.4%. Now it's hovering about 4%. There's more people employed in Virginia than any time in our history. And labor force data, and you can look it up on the Bureau of Labor Statistics, show that the workforce increased in the last year, and labor participation rates actually increased. What that means is that more people are getting into the labor market, and the reason for that is that we are creating more jobs. The data is there. It's clear for everyone to see. In 2013, under the previous administration, we added only 4,200 jobs in the entire year. Since November of 2015, Virginia has added 37,000 jobs, and during this governor's tenure, Virginia has added over 167,000 jobs. The gentleman also spoke about the Commonwealth's growth rate and our GDP. He said he was concerned about that growth rate, which is about 2% in 2015. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's look more carefully at some of this data. This growth rate is actually up from a low of 0.1%, essentially zero, growth rate that we had after 4 years of the last administration. Under this governor and his efforts to build a new Virginia economy, we are coming back. We see it in the Forbes ratings. We moved from 6 to 5 among all the states. We see it in the chief executive's 2016 list of the best states to do business, where we jumped 2 slots. And the governor's announcements just keep coming. 2 big ones last week. We heard about the Navy Federal Credit Union. We heard about CoStar that moved from North Carolina in the aftermath of HD2 in that state. Hundreds of thousands of jobs, $14 billion in capital investment, more than any governor in history. These are jobs in your communities and mine. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, on this side of the aisle, and I hope on your side of the aisle, we believe citizens want us to focus on creating jobs and that exceed the prevailing wage. That's why we're so focused on things like increasing the minimum wage. And we're so focused on opposing the bills that some have offered that would suggest that we would prevent the payment of prevailing wages in contracts. Why should we encourage companies and our Commonwealth not to pay a prevailing wage? Ladies and gentlemen, Virginians need good jobs that pay decent wages. They need more opportunity, and they need a raise. And that's what we are working on. So what about these jobs? The other day, I thought I heard the majority leader say, that he was concerned that a lot of the governor's jobs were low-wage jobs. Well, I'm concerned about low-wage jobs too, but I would encourage us to look more carefully. Look at the announcements. and speak with the people who are coming here. Ask the Navy Federal Credit Union when they've invested $100 million to create 1,400 new jobs, whether those jobs are paying more than the prevailing wage. Ask Eldor Corporation. Ask Lido Corporation in Arlington when they're going to invest in creating 500 new jobs. Ask McKesson in Richmond around the... McKesson, I'm glad that you are paying attention. Ask McKesson about their expansion in Henrico, next to the gentleman's district. 135 new jobs, a lot of them are paying more than the prevailing wage. Again and again and again. So I think our body, if they look carefully, will discover that many of these new jobs are anything but low wage. Can we do better? Yes, of course. So long as we keep focused on investing on our schools, our businesses, our universities, and our apprenticeship programs. And will we have a better chance? Sure we will, if we work together, as we've done in the past, to make things happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I refuse to accept the gloom and doom scenarios that some might project on this Commonwealth. I am optimistic about the future of Virginia. I am optimistic about the leadership of this governor, and I believe that if we combine this optimism with the strong policies embraced by this administration and by this body, it will prove to be a powerful recipe for providing more economic opportunity for all Virginians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.